Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Rundgren Radio Virtual Vision. It's been a while, Cruiser Mel.
Virtual vision. Yes, it has. Although I got to see you in person
That's right.
just about a month ago, at our party and our
Yeah.
concert.
15th year. What a fun time that was.
Yeah, it really was. Thanks everybody for coming out and participating. And it's so good to be back in the presence of our friends.
Yeah. I hope everybody got to see one of those shows. We presented the Celebrating David Bowie show, and it was outstanding.
Definitely.
Really good. And our bands that we had at the party, Throw Money, Secret Society, and Toxic, so much fun.
And the David Bowie band, most of them came to our hotel and hung out with us.
Yeah, Adrian Blue and all of them. Good times. Yeah. Angela Moore.
Yeah.
We had a really good time. It was good to be back. We did the Boston party earlier too, and it was great. So we're getting back in the groove. Who knows what'll be next? Next year, I'm sure everybody's already thinking about it. It's Todstock. I'm sure there will be something fun. There's lots of rumors, but we won't speculate on where that's going to be or how it's going to be, but it's coming, right?
That's right.
So, good stuff. All right. We have a great show for you tonight. It's going to be Cruise Mount. Reminds me of when we started. The purpose was to educate ourselves on Todd stuff, particularly me, really. And
me too.
This is what this is going to be tonight, because we really have no clue about a lot of this stuff. So we're going to ask a lot of questions, and we're assuming that you probably don't know as much about it either, because this is, a lot of the music business type things of the production and how things are recorded and kept and all these kind of things. So we're going to learn a lot about this, and we're going to listen to music. If you haven't heard this yet, because it's really, the CDs are just being launched tomorrow. The vinyl's been out for a little while, but this is not something that you've heard before, unless you've heard it in the last few days, because it's new Nazz. It's hard to believe, but that's what it is. So we'll talk about that some too. But we reached out to Tom and Stookie, and it'd be ideal if we could have Tom, Stookie, and Todd on this show, but this is not an ideal world. So everything doesn't always work out the way it should. And since I'm bringing that up, that it's not an ideal world, I do want to make sure that we dedicate this show. We lost two people recently in the Todd community that were long timers and very active at different points in their lives. Jana goes way back with Lonnie and the CLB back in the day when she had that house party, and Teresa came on the scene with us for the orchestra show back in 2015 and just missed Nottoway, and she lived right down the road in Thibodaux.
She was so mad.
Yes. But Teresa came to the Little Rock deal and Little Rocktopia and all that, and brought some hangover soup. Everybody remembers that story, but she was great. And she was an administrator for us on the Todd Rundgren radio page. And Janet was very active on there and on Facebook. And, it's always sad when we lose one of our people in the community, and we wanted to dedicate this show to them. And we're going to miss them.
Yeah. Rest in peace, y'all.
Rest in peace. All right. So without further ado, let's move to, let's get Michael on. Michael is the person that discovered these acetates, these rare, we thought were missing Nazz recordings. So he's going to let us know all about it. So without further ado, this is Michael. What's going on, man? Michael in LA.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
Thanks for guiding us in the way back machine tonight.
Yeah,
of course. I'm honored.
Oh, good.
Let's start with tell us a little about yourself real quick, and then let's get into this CD stuff.
Well, I am a record collector, and I have a huge Todd collection, and I've been collecting, his vinyl kind of rare, test pressings, acetates. I'm always looking around for different stuff. And I live in Los Angeles. So, fortunately, a lot of the record stores here have some really cool stuff show up. And a lot of the guys know I'm a Todd guy. I'm a Todd nerd. And there's one of my favorite record stores in Sherman Oaks, California, is called Freak Beat. And the owner is a guy, his name's Bob. And he's like, Mike, I've got the Nazz acetates in the back room. And Carson Van Austen's his nephew sold them to us after he passed away.
Wow.
He kind of was teasing me with them. He's like, but I don't know if I want to sell them, and they're not going to be cheap. And he gave me that. And I'm like, okay. We talked about it more and more, and finally I talked him out of them. I told him to go grab them for me. Let's take a look. And it was just amazing what was in this box. It was a lot of funky 10-inch acetates, which look like this. And as you can see, that's one for Gonna Cry Today, dated 10/8/1968.
Wow.
I guess I can explain what an acetate is. You hear that term a lot.
Please.
Basically, what an acetate is, it's like the first step in the physical manufacture of a record. And basically, what they are is they're a very lacquer-coated disc that is cut on a thing called an acetate cutting lathe. And you will see these things a lot of times in like movies about like a band in the 40s or 50s recording in the studio. And as they're recording, you'll see this kind of turntable scratching out what they're recording. That is an acetate, and that's a lathe, and that's how these things are cut. And basically what it is it's just a way to monitor the record and just to kind of hear how it sounds, hear how the mix laid, and basically, from there they would make a better version of this thing. But a lot of times these would be taken home for the band to listen to, like demos. They didn't really have cassettes back then, so if they were doing a demo in a studio, they would each cut like a acetate on a lathe and take it home and listen to it, check the mix. And I think these are some that Carson had just taken home and saved and knew they were worth something, because the family is like, our uncle had these, and I know there are some rare recordings of his band Nazz. And they are, in fact, very rare. It was some kind of like demos that we're going to hear tonight. The most important of which being some Todd demos, which are Todd multi-tracking himself in the studio and writing, which sort of became his strength. He's more of a guy that works and builds in the studio rather than writing a complete song. He kind of writes it as he goes, and you can hear him punching in on a lot of these, like in Sounds of the Studio. You will hear that punch out sound, like he's sort of writing as he goes, and he's adding vocals and stacking them. And to me, that's the best stuff about Todd, is his backing vocals, his layering. And this really gives us an opportunity to hear how he sort of starts, and also, what he sounded like when he was starting off in like 18 or 19. It lets you know Todd was human. He wasn't always, he worked it out. He was working it out on some of this stuff. But even though it's still pretty advanced for a young guy, how old was he, like 18 or 19 at this time? So they're really fascinating. The other cool thing about acetates is the material they're printed on sounds better than a record. As you make a record from an acetate, basically what you do to make a record is you take the acetate that was cut on this lathe. You can play that thing back on a turntable, but it's soft material. It's almost like a half an inch of lacquer that they've cut into the grooves, but something about the material sounds much better than vinyl. So acetates are notably better sounding than a record will be, much more bold, much more full, more definition. Then what they do is they will make they will coat it in nickel, and they will make an impression of that thing. Then they will take that nickel off, which will generally ruin the acetate. And then they go and they press mother pressings, which is they'll take that stamp that they made from the original, and they will push it into about 5 mother discs, or however many that the pressing plants are going to press. So a lot of times, if you made a big record, you would make a few mother discs and send them to Winchester pressing plant or Master Disc or wherever all these would be getting pressed, because they would send them to several, especially if it was a bigger record. So that's what a mother disc is. And there's sort of a different, or a master is another way to say it.
Yes, because that's these some of this music we'll be listening tonight. You hear crackles and things like that, but not all of it's acetate. We have some of the lost masters and demos, so it's not. We're not going to be hearing some kind of super stereo sound that's going to sound like perfect, because you're going to hear some crackling and some sounds of Todd producing and things like that, and some of it. But let's talk about that for a minute, because Cleopatra ended up taking this from you. By the way, they have this out too now. If you hadn't, let me get on this main screen for a second. This is available too. This is the Individualist tour. If you hadn't seen it, it's very nice, very nicely done. Got Jesse in it and Chasm and everybody. Cleopatra Records has that. Now this one, the ones that we're celebrating tonight, is a box set of CDs, and you take it and you get this great little book that has an interview that Michael did and some other information with Jim Lowe, who was the producer of the Nazz music and other things that Todd did. Most of y'all might have heard of him. If not, he's the guy that was playing bass on the video that you see on YouTube a lot that wasn't Carson. That was Jim Lowe. But this is a really cool book, for us old schoolers like to, get a CD and touch and play with things. And then it comes with great packaging with Nazz pictures on it. And the acetate one's a little unique. I haven't seen this before as far as the whole artwork, but I've seen the photo. But very cool, has all the stuff on it. And then the CDs look something like this. So really well packaged from Cleopatra. A great box set. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it from Cleopatra Records. Highly recommend it. You can also get the vinyl, which Michael's going to show off a little bit here right quick. There's 4 colors, Michael?
You can get it in a 4-color vinyl. Let me like backwards here.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah. Or you can get it. There were 1,500 of those pressed. This is a very limited pressing thing. So this is really a collectible set.
I hope Tom Jennings is watching Cruiser Mail.
Turntable.
Probably got all 4 colors already, right?
Yeah. And they also made a 180-gram black vinyl, which there was only 500 of those pressed, and that's a thicker vinyl. It's probably going to give you a slightly better sound. And you get big versions of everything that Doug was just showing you. These are all actual pictures of the acetates in Carson's box. So
wow.
What you're looking at is what you're going to hear in the box. That's another really important thing. There's some photos in here as well that we transferred and used on the cover. These were actually in the box, these promo photos.
Oh, nice.
Right. So I really went out, I designed the box, and I really went out of my way to give you an experience of what it was like to open it,
Oh, cool.
Stuff.
Makes sense.
And in the acetate section, we go through and show literally what all the acetates are and what's on each of them. So you get it's like a whole little package. It's a whole package deal. And these are, like Doug was saying, direct from acetates. So some are actually a little noisy. This is not a complete audiophile set. This is not like a Chris Bellman, Bernie Grundman kind of high-end thing. This was more of, these are a discovery that almost didn't come out. And me and a few other fans like Doug sort of pushed to get it out. And it's really a fan-made effort by fans for fans.
Yes, there's a whole, I like to call them the bootleggers, the bootlegging community that, they find something like this, and they find some pretty cool stuff over the years. But this was, whoa, hard to believe.
It took about 4 years to get this out. I mean, when I was looking back at the old emails when I found these, it's been 4 years. So it's been a kind of a long time to get this all put out. And, when I did find it, I went to Doug and another handful of Todd nerds on a group we're in. And these guys know Todd stats, like sports stats.
Yeah.
Right? And I do too. I'm a real nerd for it. So I just wanted to double check, is this really, I'm pretty sure this is this is not out there. And everyone was like, yes, this is rare. So it's been a journey, and it's great to see it finally come out.
Yeah. I'll just give you a little quick story about Stookie. I was trying to get him to come talk to us, and he wasn't aware. I don't guess he's on the internet a lot, but, he said, great, the more Nazz, the better. So he's happy about it, even though he was unaware. So I'm hoping he's listening. But yeah,
it was on a lot of picks. It was on some picks for the week, for last week, along with the new Neil Young set. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, it's getting a little attention. I think more people. I see a lot of kids appreciating it that are into psych rock, and a lot of the younger generation are really interested in Nazz. And that was really my point.
Yeah, we did the the Night of Nazz Music in Cincinnati was a big hit. What is that we did? Okay, so the Lost Masters and Demos are separate from the acetates. Are those something that you found or something that they've had? What are those?
No, that's a good question. So Lost Masters and Demos is the full name of the box, which is the combined acetates LP and the Nazz Nazz 2 LP, which is not, it was never called Fungo Bat. That was just something that got on Wikipedia. There was though a 2 LP assembly of the record that exists on acetate. And what we have here on one of them, on the 2 LP, is the 2 LP assembly of Nazz Nazz, we'll call it, which is basically the running order that you will see in Fungo Bat. That running order.
Unofficial.
Yeah, unofficial, but and I would call it a rough mix. It's a mix that's still in work. Like there's no organ on Not Wrong Long and Rain Rider. There's some stuff is still being added. So it's I call it a rough mix. It was probably an assembly Todd tried to see how it would work as a 2 LP. And then there was actually another version of Nazz Nazz that was the 2 LP with a different track listing. That's in the book as well. I kind of notate. We got like pictures of all this stuff. I'm backwards here, but yeah, it's all in the booklet. And I tried to give you real photos of everything we used, and
no stone unturned, man.
We tried.
So what did I know you've talked with Eric Gardner, Todd's manager. Did he give you any feedback from Todd, or did you talk to Todd about this at all?
They liked it. They're like, we love. They thought the stuff was lost in a fire, and they were really surprised it existed. They're like, these tapes have been long gone, and Todd is not. He doesn't care so much about old stuff. He kind of likes to move forward, but it had his blessing. And, he understands how cool it is. We found, I think you guys contacted Michelle or put me in contact, and they got right back to us. So, he was interested in it. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, imagine thinking 74, 84, 94, 2000, I mean, 50 plus years that this would have burned. Yeah. And now here it shows up out of nowhere. I wish the guitar from the Rob would show up somewhere. All right. So what a great story. So let's listen to some of it. Let's give it right. So just FYI, we don't have video. We're going to do it like we did when we had Fernando on and did the Someone Anyone show where we just had a picture and played music. And actually Fernando did these for me, so I appreciate it. Some of the photos are old Nazz. Some are from our Night at Nazz Music with Sticky and Tom. So we're going to start though with Forget All About It. This isn't an acetate. This one's from the Lost Masters and Demos.
It is from an acetate.
It is from acetate.
Direct from acetate, yes.
All right. I got it off of the Nazz Nazz 2 LP, but it came from an acetate. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that is a needle drop of an acetate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's a little noisy at parts, but mostly it's a really good sounding, fat sounding acetate.
Okay, so what's different about this than the one that everybody's heard? Anything?
Well, this is a 2 LP. So this is there's a lot of differences. There's a ton of differences. There's probably too numerous to go over here. They're all in the book. But for instance, this Forget All About It is much slower speed. It doesn't come in with the airplane sound like on the final mix. It just comes in with the tubular orchestra bells, right? And you'll notice it's slower. There is a slower version that's on whatever, one of the 13th and Pine or one Nazz versus Toddzilla. It's a little like this, but this is different. This is a different vocal. Yeah.
All right. Everybody ready? Cruiser Mel, you ready for some music?
Yes, please.
Everywhere
Good stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. More guitar on that bad boy.
Yeah, yeah. The orchestra chimes. Dong. Yeah, more guitar on it.
Yeah.
The clavinet or clavichord or whatever, it's like the harpsichord sounding thing. It's still in there, but just turned down a lot more. It's more rockin' to me. It's more the Who. It has more of a Who kind of snarl.
Big influence on them for sure.
Big
100%.
I hear that too. Yeah.
So the next one we're going to play tonight, we got Hang On Paul, which you say, you told me you prefer this to the final. That's pretty good.
This sounds rockin'. It sounds, they definitely, it's got kind of a Birthday and a Back in the USSR kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he stole it or he didn't steal it, but how Todd gets influenced by things and will make his own version. This really has a lot of that Beatles. There's a warble to it. That's sort of an effect they use on the White Album on Your Blues. Or on the guitar solo for While My Guitar Gently Weeps. It's like a offset thing they do with the speed of the tape, and I think that's a big part of this track. And Jim Lowe talked about that. They had a lot of fun doing that effect, and he talks about it in the notes.
All right, good deal. That's outstanding.
That's different. That's a different. I mean, they're obviously doing that by hand in the mastering process, so it's a little different every time. And I don't know, what you guys think of that version?
I think it's awesome. I could see. I'm listening to it, going, okay, I can see Todd. I would love to see Todd do that live. I can hear Chasm sing in the background, especially towards the end. Some of those background vocals. That would be a fun song to see him do live today, or any of the Nazz guys.
It's one of my favorites on the record. I think really James Lowe said that was one of his favorites as well.
Yeah, we got some comments in the chat room about it being, Beatles, kind of reminded people of Kitty Boy.
Yeah.
Which Todd did do live during the Johnson tour, which was awesome.
Love that.
I don't know if this dream band that you're talking about, Doug, with Todd playing that material again, I could tell because I could see you in the backstage area. You'd give Tom Mooney a run for his money with your air drumming.
Yeah. Oh, you're watching me back here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom doesn't air drum though. He's a real drummer, so he would be
He's
awesome.
amazing. He's one of the best.
He would be awesome. Yeah.
Amazing drummer. Love him.
He's all. We had such a fun time. All right. So, do you take these acetates that you discovered? Any idea why Carson had them instead of Todd or Tom or Stookie or anybody?
I think a lot of these were like take home demos for the guys. I think
So everybody probably had something.
Yeah, I feel like they all have some. And then the next one we're going to play, Christopher Columbus. This is one I was hoping that we could get Tom or Stookie to answer, but I know when they went to England, they only got they got a Christopher Columbus in the can, or some of it, and maybe some of Under the Ice. But the version on this Nazz Nazz acetate is a different version of Christopher Columbus than what ended up on the final. And I always wondered, is this version partly the one they recorded in England, or is this like just another take that didn't make it onto the final record?
We'll work on getting you an answer for that. I'll wear them out till I get it. All right. So so that was kind of scratchy. We had a comment about that song that we just played. Can you take these acetates and do anything with them to make a better quality vinyl type thing if somebody wanted to invest the money in it? Does it work that way, or is that a crazy question?
Yeah, the surfaces are just 53 years old. They're kind of worn out. So, it was more of a thing where, I mean, maybe, hey, if someone knows how to do like better cleanup versions, I would happily provide them to let you try. But yeah, these were caked with a lot of mold and dust, and
sure,
we had to just kind of try to get them as cleaned up as much as possible. And we had a lot of like, I feel like it works better on a vinyl set because it's, for that reason.
Sure. Everything does.
But, the stuff just almost would have just got relegated to a shelf. And I feel like it's too cool to like just not be heard. So
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I just was wondering about how the acetate, the system you were explaining how it works, if there's actually a way they could take these, and use them in the future if they wanted to make a perfectly crystal clear version. But I like hearing it like it is, how they did it and what it was like in the old day. I think it's awesome. Okay. So what you're telling us here for you Nazz fans, this is probably a version that some people haven't heard.
Yes. I think it's definitely different. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all ready? You ready, Chris, or not?
Yes.
So I asked her for 3 5 shifts.
Yes.
Rocking. That's good stuff. A lot of guitar.
Yeah, a lot more guitar on these, right?
Yes, and Tom's just wailing. I mean, yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Another thing you'll hear on that 2 LP of the Nazz Nazz, it's a much more even distribution of Todd and Stookie vocals. So, you know, I think, you know, Todd really wished it to be like a little like the Beatles, like they all kind of had their songs they'd sing on the record, and I think that might have been some of his ambition behind the 2 LP.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Nice. All right. So next up, we got There's Only One Winner. What you want to tell us about that one?
Oh yeah. So this is a demo. This is a Todd demo this is not out there. So this is definitely something that's, well, a lot of the stuff is not out there, but this is one of my favorite this is the Todd demo, just him by himself in the studio. He probably made this to show the rest of the guys the song, I'm thinking.
All right. It's going to be interesting. Are you ready, Cruiser Mel?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see a smile.
Hey,
So
Doug.
y'all think that was Todd singing?
No, that was the one. You played the wrong one. So what we
I
wanted-
did?
Yeah, you want to play the one from the acetate set.
Oh, man.
Oh, oh.
Why don't you do it so you can hear what
I
Todd?
was
Well,
like,
tell
that
us,
didn't
tell us
sound
about
like
that one we played. That was cool.
Yeah, that was the one from the 2 LP Nazz Nazz. So that
Okay.
would be, I believe, the song that comes after Forget All About It. Yeah, so that's the second song on side 1. So Forget All About It goes straight into that one on the
Okay.
2 LP assembly.
Mm-hmm.
But let's check out that. Can we check out Only One Winner from the Nazz?
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll have to upload it while we're doing another song. But that's is there anything about that particular one that we just played that's unique?
Well, that was Todd's lead vocal.
Okay, very good.
So yeah, it was an earlier version. You know, Stookie sang that one great, but I like the Todd version too. I'm seeing some of these responses too. Yeah. So yeah, the crackle on some of them, you you can spend a lot of money to go do these in the studio, but I want to stress this is a kind of a fan made thing. There was no budget for this.
Cliff Patrick's not going to drop big bucks on this. Yeah.
No, there's not. Nazz is amazing, but there's not enough of a call for it to release like the Something Anything box set. So this is more of a rare collectible. There's actually only 1,500 color vinyl, 500 black and 180 gram vinyl, and I believe 1,000 CD boxes. So it's a very limited thing. Warts and all. I explain it in the notes in there, but I knew some people would be like, it's scratchy.
Right. So
the rarity is really what it's about here.
Fernando, if you're in the chat room, say hello, and I'm gonna send you this song. If you don't have it, let me know if you don't have it, and you can make me a video right quick. We'll play it before the end of the night because we still got 5 or 6 more songs. So you know something though, Michael, I'm not a Nazz aficionado or anything, but what I'm noticing here, you know, we started out with a big bang with just Tom wailing on drums and Todd doing all these guitar solos and whatnot, and then this is kind of getting, you know, to the Nero-esque, I guess, kind of portion, and then we're gonna do "Gonna Cry Today" next, which you know, it really went from, you know, to and that's, you know, there's, you know, of course the story goes that the other guys didn't really like that very much, which would explain maybe why this one we're going to play later is Todd by himself kind of messing around with it. But
well, could you imagine like when they were doing like Under the Ice and, you know, those kind of like heavier, and then Todd's like, hey, I got these new songs, and he brings in You Are My Window or something.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, like in Gonna Cry Today even, you know.
Yeah, Gonna Cry Today. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so this is the demo. This is again, this is a demo of Todd doing it by himself, and it should be the one on the acetates disc that says "I'm Gonna Cry Today."
Okay, I'm confident that's the one I have for this. So I'm gonna work on this other one. That's why I'm looking kind of crazy on the screen for y'all. Probably. Let's do "Gonna Cry Today," and I'm gonna try to send Fernando the one that you want me to play, and hopefully this is. You said this is from the acetates.
Yeah, I think the ones from here on out should be from acetate.
Let me take a look at my notes.
Yeah, so we should. There's 3 Todd demos. There's only one winner. I'm Gonna Cry Today, and Old Time Lovemaking from the acetates disc.
Okay, so I'm not sure. I see now what you did. I'm not sure it is the right one.
What else you got?
Do you have I'm Gonna Cry Today on something besides? Is it more than once on these CDs?
Yeah, there's 2 of them. So they're almost the same thing. I just included both because they were both in Carson's box of acetates. So I just wanted to give everything that was in the box. And one is called I'm Gonna Cry Today on the label, and then the other's called Gonna Cry Today. So slightly different.
Okay, let's see here. Troubles. All right, so I tell you what, I know what I did do off the acetates. We can skip to that, and I can send a couple of these to Fernando right quick. I did Open My Eyes.
Yeah.
Why don't we skip on down to that one with no vocal, which is kind of interesting.
I have no idea where this came from. I don't know why they made it like this. Maybe it was just it could have been like a track for them to play on a TV show, or I don't know. I'd like if Stookie or Tom want to say anything.
Okay. All right. So y'all ready for hear this craziness? It's going to be kind of weird, but if nobody's in the room with you, you can sing it.
You can do karaoke.
There you go. All right, here we go. right.
How about that ending?
Yeah,
Boom.
good.
All right, someone
So bizarre.
Someone says, is this the same as the acetates in the MP3 downloads on Amazon? Yes. This portion just got released initially on iTunes with no fanfare. And it just sat there. And that was part of the impetus for me to kind of come with them with the artwork and be like, you know, people are asking about this, like on Steve Hoffman forums. It's a big audiophile forum. They're like, these are really rare. Does anyone know about this? And, you know, I told that to Cleo and so they're like, yeah, make the artwork, make it, and let's put it out. We'll put out a small batch of these. So yeah, that's what's up with this.
Okay, so let me ask you real quick. The so the acetates have Gonna Cry Today alt version 2 and then an alt version, right?
It's one, yeah. Either one's going to work. I think one is just a little better sounding than the other. The second of the two, the later of the two on the disc, but either would work. What we want to hear is that one, Gonna Cry Today, and Old Time Lovemaking. Those are Todd demos, and those you guys got to hear.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna keep playing what I do have correct. Under the Ice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is a different version. Different version of Under the Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the one they did in England. Could just be another take, but it's different than the one on the record.
Okay. All right. This is clearly one of everybody's favorites. Here we go.
about that?
Very nice.
Come
Very
in.
drummy.
The drums. Oh,
Yeah.
he's so good on that. He's just crushing.
Yeah, he does.
I could listen to that one over and over again. I love Under the Ice. So good.
And as you see, as you kind of get into these, you get used to the kind of crackle. You get,
Oh,
yeah,
It's history, man.
it is. It is. Thank
You
you.
discovered a lost treasure.
It's special.
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I sent stuff to Fernando. So we got a couple more videos. It should work out just fine. We'll be able to play the other songs that we talked about. So next, anything else you want to tell us about Under the Ice?
Oh, the one that we just heard?
Yes.
Well, it's definitely a different version. I would like to know if they did that at ID Sound,
Mhm.
like in the ID Sound sessions when they came back to LA, or if that was one of the ones they started in England, or I don't know. I know Tom Mooney said he has some tapes of the England sessions.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. And I was wondered if that was, I don't know. I wish those guys would
I
chime
need to
in.
get those out of him.
I know.
So most of these notes that you've got, I mean, obviously these acetates and whatnot didn't come with notes, probably not. But you got a lot of this information from James Lowe.
Yeah, from Lowe, and then a lot of it was, I took it to our Todd Rundgren group, who is, I played it for the dudes, and we all sort of. There are still some questions, but there are things we know. So I didn't try to say anything I didn't know for sure. Some of the stuff I'm more asking now in case, Stookie felt like chiming in. But yeah, it's I tried to just kind of tell the differences that were, noticeable or audibly different than the released version.
Yeah.
So Tom had these tapes, he said. What would that be? Would it be acetates, tapes? What would it be?
I think he actually has 2-inch tape.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He just needs to transfer them.
Well, sometimes he's good about communicating. Sometimes he's not. We'll get him in a good time and we'll try to get him.
Okay.
That's what we can do. Tom's a good guy. He's fun. His wife's a blast. We had a good time with him in Cincinnati for sure.
Uh-huh.
So it was first time, I think, 40 years since Stookie and Tom have seen each other.
Yeah.
We did that a couple years ago. It was unbelievable. All right. So next up we got let's see. Yeah, we got right. Get Out of Here, Baby. Get Out of Here.
Get Out of Here, Baby, which is Rain Rider. I don't know where Get Out of Here, Baby came from, but that was the name on the acetate. But this is an early version of Rain Rider from Nazz Nazz.
Here we go, folks.
Some men sail the waters, some men live on the land. I was born a pilot with the reins and a whip in my hand. Where I take the ladies, something you never see. Nothing stops a man who drives his life like a flag machine. I don't make the push inside, I'm in for you. And I don't do half the things you think that I will. And I don't see how you find it much of a thrill. That's unless you want to take a ride. My road is the sun. My steed's on the run. We're leaving by dawn. Come on, unless you want to see me gone. I got a belt of wind songs hanging around my waist. I ride the skies of lightning with the clouds running over my face. Right out in the morning, sail on the edge of night. I can save you with my left hand, I can restore you again with my right. You got one last chance to catch a ride on my tail. When I move my tracks, I hardly leave any trail. And it's silent, I leave everything done with a laugh. So if you wanna
I like these comments.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the chat room too?
Yeah, I'm looking at
Oh.
Fernando's like some tuning issues with the bass.
Yeah.
And Stu
Fernando's supposed to be making me videos. Come on, Fernando. Appreciate you making the ones that we've had. Yeah. So that's just really fun music. I mean, you could do, we had the night of Nazz music. You could do a whole nother set and it'd be fun, of the band with Tom and Stookie and Fernando and those guys. It's fun. It's perfect party music, I think. That party is not going to cry today necessarily, but those songs are just so much fun. Such a good band.
What was the one that Stookie likes? It wasn't Gonna Cry Today. There was one that Stookie liked singing a lot. Which one was it? Letters Don't Count. Yeah, I love him on that.
Is that on any of these? I don't think it is it?
Um,
Yeah, it is. It's on disc 2.
It's on disc 2.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Somebody's asking about this has been released already. So good question. We can take a little time to talk about that again. So we're having a CD release party tonight. That's what this is, as best as we can. Video, streaming, etc. It's tomorrow is the official release day of the CD set. So you can get it. You can get the vinyl now. Cleopatra Records, Amazon has it. So there's lots of different ways to get this. If you want the good old CDs, like what I'm having, what I'm playing, with this great book and everything else, Amazon's got it for like $27. Cleopatra has it for, I'm sure, in the same range. So yeah, definitely support it. It's a great project. And there's only a few. I mean, there's only 1,500 CDs, 500 of the black vinyl.
Unpublished photos that were in here.
Yep.
These were touched up by Warren Hewitson. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, Warren. Yeah, the bootlegger. What I call him, the bootleg guru. Yeah, Warren. We played a lot of his stuff, man, on our old podcast. The bootleg guru, Warren, Georgia boy.
This is the doodle. It was just on one of the acetates.
It's got to be Carson, yeah.
It could be Carson, right?
It's got to be.
And I'll show you what they look like. They're kind of funny looking things. They usually have like 3 holes in them.
Oh, weird.
Oh.
They're weird.
Does each one just have one song on it?
Generally, yes.
Oh,
and
okay.
One side only. They kind of smell funky. It's like acetone lacquer.
Well, we can't help everybody smell it, but you can see it. I got to meet Carson once, Cruiser Mountain. I don't know if you did that night. He was at Wizard of True Star in Ventura. Came to see Todd.
I don't know. Did I meet him?
Yeah, it was cool. All right. The good pictures of the boys. Look at that. Ah, mellow.
It's funny that during that last song and the still photo that was used, I was looking at that group of 4 little young guys. I was like, if I had seen that picture back in the day, I wonder if I would have said, well, that one is going to end up being a star. I'm not so sure that I would have. I don't know. Tom was kind of cute back then.
The Nazz was one of the coolest looking bands ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it to Cruiser Mel.
Hey, I'm the color commentator here.
This cover, if you don't recognize, it's the Nazz 3 cover that's reverse negative. The negative cover, that was Jim Lowe's idea, he said, to make the Nazz 3. It was this photo, but like a negative, right? So we just unnegatived, did a reverse negative, of the photo. And I love this photo.
It is cool. That's got to be the whole story about him going to England and then just really going shopping to get outfits to look cool. That's got to be what that is. That was their collection from those shopping days, I got to think.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, they went to England. They went all the way to make a record, and something about their work visa paperwork was not right, and they got kicked out.
So they went shopping.
Record in a studio, yeah.
Okay, so Fernando has sent me the 3 songs, so we're going to get to play them. I got to upload them, but I still have another song to play. So before that, this is Back of Your Mind alternative version.
Oh yeah, check out Stookie on this one.
So you say it's much more energetic, rocking take. So cool stuff.
Yes, it is.
All right, everybody ready to rock? Because here we go.
makes a man angry. But what you do have to tell me what it is that you think there is to laugh about it. Standing here waiting for an explanation seems like a waste of time. Trying to see how much you can get away with. You might get away with anything you say. I don't know your man. You can take what's mine, you can share my bed. You can go where I go, you can cry when I'm dead. But you don't get nothing till you tell me what's in the back of your mind. Somebody special, I won't let you be with me. And I don't like to get angry, but it's my habit of doing things seriously. I know what you do when I'm not around you, to see you're doing right. I got evil in mind, but I wouldn't put it past you. Your silence shows that you won't disclose just what's in your mind. Take what's mine, you can share my bed. You can go where I go, you can cry when I'm dead. But you don't get nothing till you tell me what's in the back of your mind. I know what you do when I'm not around you, to see you're doing right. I got evil in mind, but I wouldn't put it past you. Your silence shows that you won't disclose just what's in your mind. You can take what's mine, you can share my bed. You can go where I go, you can cry when I'm dead. But you don't get nothing till you tell me what's in the back of your mind. Take what's mine, you can share my bed. You can go where I go, you can cry when I'm dead. But you don't get nothing till you tell me what's in the back of your mind.
Good, right?
Just jamming.
Yeah, heavier.
I got us on the screen bigger so Mel could see.
Nice.
He's right here too.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. It's like the Bay City Rollers up in here. Cruiser Mel's dream grade school crush.
Yes.
Oh, all right, good stuff. Okay, so we
Yeah,
are.
so James Lowe, told me these are the demos, and he said, yeah, these are just Todd, just probably tracking himself by himself before the guys got there.
Mhm,
Likely to show them songs or to have them take them home to learn.
mhm.
So that's what's up with the last few, I believe.
It's very cool. Okay, something's not right. All right.
And people are asking, I'm Pop-O-Matic. I'm on YouTube. I have a lot of Todd acetate. I have Todd Rundgren and Utopia acetates too, that are separate, but we have more coming out. We have more stuff.
Woohoo!
Really?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
more coming, and they're not scratchy. There's some are in great condition. It's just a matter of the Warner Brothers stuff it's hard to release because they own it. So we're doing some other cool Todd releases, hopefully in the near future, and we'll keep you guys posted. But
That's fun stuff.
based off of acetates again. And you can see a lot of this stuff up on my Pop-O-Matic. Some people know me from there on YouTube.
Pop-O-Matic.
Pop-O-Matic. I've
All right,
got
you
like a swing to the right up there and acapella and some other cool stuff.
You got to educate me on Pop-O-Matic.
Pop-O-Matic is the little thing on Trouble in the game, the little popper with the numbers, the game
Mhm.
Trouble, you know, the board
Oh
game.
yeah.
That's what a Pop-O-Matic is.
But what is it? How do people find your Pop-O-Matic? Or
Oh,
whatever?
you just search Pop-O-Matic on YouTube.
That's your username.
That's my handle.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
I was like, is that some kind of TikTok new thing or something? I'm out of the loop, man.
You kids.
Oh God. Help me, people. Hey, it's all right though. We've we started this video thing and had all kind of craziness, but now we can on the fly get Fernando to make videos for us and come back and play what we're supposed to be playing. So I've got Hang On Paul.
We played that.
Actually, it was only one winner is the one you wanted, right? That we did wrong.
Mhm.
And then Old Time Love Making
And Gonna Cry
and Gonna
Today.
Cry Today version 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So which one you want? Only one winner?
Yes.
All right. So tell us again. We played a version.
We played a version before with Todd vocals.
Okay.
There was a little more closer to the finished version. You know, this is just Todd, I believe, writing the song,
Mm-hmm.
just coming up with it. Because you can hear him punch in. You can hear him punch in vocals and stuff.
So he's singing this one.
Yes, he's singing everything. He's
Okay.
layering himself.
All right. Here we
Okay.
go. All right. Hang on. You looking like that's wrong. Is that
That's
wrong?
Yep, that's wrong.
Okay.
Not wrong.
What else? That was the same one you played before.
Well, it's okay. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I bet I did. I know what I did. Okay. So hold on a second. We're gonna get this right, people. All right. Let's do.
Your time.
Take two.
I'm a little. See, I got everything from us. Let me try this again. All right. Let's do Gonna Cry Today version 2. I know I have that right.
Okay.
And then we need Old Time Love Making, and there's only one winner, right?
Yes, from the acetate. From the acetate.
Acetates. Okay. This is confusing stuff, people.
Yeah,
Matter
'cause
of fact, let me just give you a little inside information on the acetates. There are 3 versions of Open My Eyes. So cut me a little slack. Here we go. I love this song, by the way, and I loved it when they did it in Cincinnati. The band that was anyway. Here we go.
You know, as long as I can remember, I wasn't ever liable to give myself away. But it sure doesn't look like it makes a difference now, so I'm gonna cry today. Gonna cry today. You know, as long as I can remember, nobody ever got anybody back this way. And it sure doesn't look like I'm gonna be the first, so I'm gonna cry today. Gonna cry today. Are you turned off by this lack of composure? Please excuse my state. It's just 'cause I know you're gonna take away something that I never had, but I thought was mine. You know, as long as I can remember, you and I never had to find ways to waste a day. But it sure doesn't look like you're gonna be around, so I guess I'll cry today. Guess I'll cry today. Are you turned off by this overexposure? just 'cause I know you're gonna take away something that I never had, but I thought was mine. You know, as long as I can remember, nobody ever got anybody back this way. And it sure doesn't look like I'm gonna be the first, so I'm gonna cry today, 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 gonna cry.
All right.
Right.
That's the right one.
Right.
Just making sure. Oh, good
So
stuff.
yeah,
Pretty.
before it went into "Are you turned off by my?" You hear a like gunk in the audio, and that's him like punching in. And I'm assuming he's sort of writing lyrics or writing parts as he goes, and that's like what Todd does. He writes in the studio. He sort of uses it as a writing tool, and it's like an early example of primordial ooze Todd.
What a history. What a great artifact. All right. So I've got the right ones. I'm confident now. We have 2 more songs for y'all tonight. We're going to do let's do the only one winner.
Mhm.
So if it's not right, just shake your head and go. I'm gonna bank on this one. And we appreciate Fernando Perdomo for making these videos and helping us out.
Thanks, Fernando.
Big help. I wish we could have, like videos that were made back in the day, but this will work. Okay, a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
There is only one winner. There's only one winner. There is only one prize. Whoever gets your heart is the winner. There is only one winner. I'm at war with a man that I still haven't seen. It's a fight for life. If I lose you, I'll die. Somebody's got to lose you, and that's why there is only one winner. There is no second place. I only know I must be the winner. There is nothing to lose but the sight of your face. I can't stay around if I know you're not mine. Somebody's gonna be lost in your mind. There's a line I don't wanna have to follow behind, and I just can't see myself not having you, loving you. There is only one winner. You're the one to decide. You've got to tell me who is the winner. Tell me who gets a broken heart, who gets a bride. Not a thing I can do, it depends upon you. But nobody wants to win more than I do. I can't lie, and I'll do anything to show you my side. I won't lie, no I won't lie. I'll do anything to win you over to my side. Take your time, take your time. If you want all my time is yours. Time is yours. Time is yours to make me the winner. Make me the winner. Make me the winner. Make me the winner. Make me the winner.
Oh, it was so pretty.
I know. Abrupt ending. The piano, he just reminds me how much I love some of the piano stuff. Really good. Michael, you participating in the chat in there?
Sorry, yeah, I am. I was.
It's addicting. And
I could answer. Yeah, so these I got the Nazz acetates were Carson's. They were sold after he died by a family member to a store in Sherman Oaks called Freak Beat Records, which is a great record store. And the owner knew I loved Todd, and he didn't want to sell him initially. He had him in the back room, and I finally talked him into selling me them. The Todd stuff I bought from another guy, and those were a bunch of Todd's private work acetates that got sold around the time of, I think he was liquidating a lot of his estate in the early 90s. And that's how the Nazz Nazz 2LP acetates and all the other ones I have, like all the Todd and Utopia. And in that box were, like the Todd master acetate for the Todd album. It's back.
Wow.
For A Wizard, A True Star, a master acetate. Check this out. The original master acetate for Hermit with the original track list.
Don't be giving out your address tonight.
Ooh.
Come to my house, stealing it.
Somebody be coming in there while you're asleep. All right, so I'm gonna have to bring him in because he has picked the funny and perfect name for Nazdo. What can you do?
God damn it!
You can't beat that. What's up, man? Check it out. You got him behind you.
So the story is, I got intel from Bill Bricker because he knew how much fun I had with these cuts, especially the Todd one, and he's like, "You want them?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this massive box shows up, and it's all these cutouts, and they've been in my last 2 studios, and it's really fun. It's kind of like a litmus test of who's cool and who isn't, and every man, every 5 people say, "Oh, cool Beatles posters." I'm like, the name's right up on top, but Nazz, and it's so much fun to see them behind some of my clients, especially some of them that are completely ambivalent to the fact that they're surrounded by greatness. But hello, hi everybody, happy Thursday.
Hey, so you and Michael know each other and LA buddies or no?
No, we should hang out sometime, man.
That's right.
We should hang out, and we both work for Cleopatra.
We do
in many ways. Brian's been very cool with me lately. I've been working on a couple of secret projects with him, and I've got another secret project coming in on Sunday. But it's been a lot of fun. And then he put out basically I met him through Carmine Appice. Carmine and I have a project together called the Peace Perdomo Project, and we put out a record called Energy Overload last year, and then we've got a second one that's just done mixing, and we're working on a video, and we're working for a release in 2023 for that. But yeah, Cleo's been doing a great job with these reissues, and
yes,
I mean it's amazing that after all these years, there's still new versions of these songs that are coming out, and it's pretty fascinating. And it kind of reminds me of I have this discussion. I'm a huge Beatles head, so obviously Revolver is on everyone's mind right now, and there's the crazy versions that Giles Martin has been doing, and some people are like, "Oh, we like the original mixes." Blah, 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 blah. You know what? This is the best way I could describe these. It's like that wedding photo of your parents that you've seen your entire life sitting in your living room, and all of a sudden you find a different angle or some outtakes of your, or like a photo, anything that you remember from a kid, like a photo of you, and then all of a sudden you find like another angle or an outtake, and you're like, wow, it's like a different, it's a different polished version, and it's really cool to hear. As a musician, we go through a big process making songs, and it's cool to see the warts and all versions where they, Carson needed to tune his bass. There's still some vocals that need to get worked on, some parts that need to get worked on, and it's fun because there's these great versions of Got to Get You Into My Life that have come out this year, where it's like they still didn't have horns, and they're doing guitar parts doing the horns, and there's Rain and the original Speed before they slowed it down, and it's fun, and it's like these versions are great because in many ways the Nazz are our own Beatles. You know, it's really really cool. You know, it's it's really fun because it's Todd still working on his technique on working on his trade, and hearing that demo just now of Only One Winner, you know, the drums are really minimal. I mean, it's just basically hitting a hi-hat.
That's Todd. That's Todd playing drums, right? That's got to be Todd playing.
That's got to be Todd.
Got to be Todd.
You know what? It's like beginner drums where it's like he still doesn't have the kick drum down, but he could play the hi-hat and the snare enough, and it's like it's just basically keeping time. And you know, the piano playing is so unique. Again, it's like Todd's got the one finger on the left hand, the 3 or 4 note clusters on the right, and he does a lot of stuff where he'll just move the same pattern from one chord to another, and that's just basically his technique in a nutshell. And it's a lot of fun to hear this stuff because, again, it's chords and all. It's not perfect at all, but we've got the perfected versions that we could enjoy at any time. It's great to hear these different versions as a completist, and also to be able to go, wow, you know, it's fun to see how where it began and where it ended. You know,
it kind of reminds me of when you see a painting and then they've scanned it and there's an underpainting. You know, it took you know, and that stuff's fascinating to me. It's like it started there and it ended at another place, and I like the underpainting and where, you know, the little build parts. Yes.
It's beautiful.
We've got the originals. We've got the final release already. So
no, it's a beautiful thing, and man, it's great that these things were found. And I go to Freakbeat all the time, so it's awesome that was ground zero for this. This is really cool, and that Carson's family brought them in. And you know, I own a lot of stuff from old bandmates that passed away. I'm actually currently reheading Eddie Zine's Hall & Oates drum kit that I good old Eddie.
Yeah,
Eddie
is,
and he played with Todd. He played 2 main shows with Todd, and then he played the 2 orchestra shows in Rockford. And he was Hall & Oates' drummer in the 70s, and I inherited the drum kit that you see him play with Hall & Oates on Music Laden, and I've got a drummer coming in for Cleopatra on Sunday, so I'm working on reheading that. But you know, it's like he's got all sorts of tapes and all sorts of stuff in the past. It's very important to not just throw them in a box in storage and have them rot. You know, this is stuff that is history. And a lot of these musicians, they end up with these demos that might be, you know, that's the weird thing about digital these days, is that, you know, you have a band, you send MP3s, and everybody gets the exact same thing. Back then, man, we used to run off cassettes. And every cassette was different. You know, it could be a different stage of the song. It could be a different, even something as simple as like, oh, well, the settings on the mixer were different, you know, and you might be able to hear things differently. And, you know, that's why it's amazing that these acetates exist, because these are the things that they took home. You know, these are the things that they took home either to learn the songs or to check mixes and say, you know, I want the bass louder, I want the drums louder. You know, it's it was a way of being able to take things home. And you hear this all the time about the Beatles playing acetates, you know, for Bob Dylan or for, you know, the Rolling Stones at parties, you know, and that was the thing. You know, DJs, the history of rap, you know, was DJs making dub tapes, you know, dub discs, and taking them to the club and testing them out, you know, dub plates, as they call them.
Dub plates.
Okay. Well, for Nazdo, you're in luck, because we have another song to play.
Hell yeah, bring it on. The more the better, as you said.
Yeah.
And I gotta, you know, before you put that on, I'm gonna go ahead and make a challenge here, because while we still have Stookie and Tom kicking, I'd love to do this again. You know, the pandemic was very mean, because we were lucky to get Cincinnati under our belts, and then we had another show booked.
Philadelphia
at the World Cafe, and that was going to be amazing. But you know, we had a pandemic to go through. But now that the pandemic is mostly done, and while Stookie and Tom are still around, I would love to do this again And also, I'd love to see if we could do another tune in the studio or something. I know they've got some songs. I've got songs. Me and actually, how about this for a secret? John and I wrote a song for Nazz. John Pohida.
Yeah.
And we demoed it. And it'll be really fun to get this to Tom and Stookie, and maybe we could record a new Nazz song in 2023.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, we'll try. I've had some communication. It's
Heather's super great. Heather is on it. Everybody needs a partner that's better at social media than them.
Yeah,
and,
maybe I should just hit her up.
And hit her up. Yeah, she's cool. And they seem to be having a good time relaxing. But you know what? The rest is over, Tom. It's time to get behind the kid again.
That's right.
Tom and Stookie blew me away because these guys don't play as much as we do. And we had Nick Bertling on drums, who was amazing. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, Tom gets behind the drums, and the thunder was there, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, Nick's drums were amazing, and they sounded great. But when Tom got behind that kit, man, what a thunderous drummer! What an amazing player! And Stookie, what a great front man. He just nailed it. His voice is not the same, but whose voice is the same after all these? Even Todd's. So it's like, it's still it's raspy, it's rock and roll, but man, he killed it. Everybody brought their A game that night.
I think our attendees, we had Stookie too at our 10th anniversary, just absolutely love him. And I don't know if he knows it or not, but when he comes, he brings it, and we recognize it. So
I know, everybody's got health stuff, and the older you get, we've had a lot. What I say is that unfortunately, what rock and roll is going through right now is what the jazz guys went through in the 90s, where all the jazz guys started going because they reached that magic age of the 80s, and we gotta preserve our rock stars in cellophane and bubble tape while we have them.
All right.
Can I just say, I've got a lot of interest from young people that are into like psych, that are collecting like Electric Prunes and Lollipop Shop, and they're after the old psych records, and they're asking about this Nazz set. And I love that we can expose like a younger generation to this music. I don't want it to die. I want new stuff.
To be a Todd fan is to enjoy trying to get people into Todd, and it's about a 50% success rate. I've had some horrible experiences trying to get people into Todd. From driving with a drummer I remember driving from Miami to Orlando with the best drummer in Miami, and I put in anything. I said, I'm about to play you a record that's going to change your life. And halfway through, he's like, these are demos, right? I'm like, no, the album. He's like, how did they release those drum tracks? I'm like, that's the beauty of it, Sweeter Memories slows down,
That's Laura Nero. That's like him doing Laura Nero. The speeding up and slowing down, it's not because he's a bad drummer. He's going for the Laura Nero push and pull with the tempo.
I know, but that's the thing is that you play it for Enrique Iglesias' drummer, it's going to be, wait, why is he slowing down? Why is it so sloppy,
Hey, zone.
I've had experiences where I've played stuff for Todd where people say, oh, it's kind of wussy. And then I'll play them something rock, and it's like, it's kind of, I'll never forget, like, I was on a prog tour. And I was so excited to play them Todd Rundgren's Utopia. And it got cut off halfway through Utopia Fame because they said, this is really shrill. The recording is really shrill. It's hurting my ears. I'm like, kind of the joy of that record is that it's being, it's a bombast, the secret sound was in many ways imperfect as an effect. AWATS is not the greatest sounding record, but the fact that the snare drum is recorded, the fact that there's major imperfections in the recording from the mastering because the album was too long for vinyl, so the mastering kind of chewed it up. But that adds to the glory of it. Like, I'm a huge King Crimson fan, and the story about the first King Crimson record is that it's taken from a safety copy because there was an issue with the master, and that adds to the gloominess of the record because there's a certain like sound about it that's like, really weird. AWATS is, say you're a fan of audiophile music like, Yes and Genesis and Supertramp and Styx and Kansas. Todd Rundgren's Utopia and AWATS, they're of the same time, but there's something about it that makes it actually more cool these days, because you talk about young hipsters that want like stuff. They listen to stuff that like sticks in Boston and Yes, and they're like, oh, this is too pristine. They love the weirdo stuff. They're the ones that are going crazy about Skip Spence and Emmett Rhodes and freaking Velvet Underground and all that weirdo stuff that wasn't as pristine. And that's the thing that I love about AWATS and Todd Rundgren Utopia and Todd and
Fernando. That's a good segue, because we got another song to play.
Bring it on. Sorry, I love talking about this stuff. This is why, Michael, we gotta hang.
We're gonna hang out.
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
come over.
Y'all should.
I play guitar too. Let's just play.
Great.
Yeah,
Fernando can play pretty good.
I used to.
Oh, which one?
I used to play with a guy, Tommy Walter from the Eels.
Dude, I made a record with Tommy Walter.
All right, wait. We're gonna play a song, then you can talk about
Y'all
it.
get a room. Good.
Yeah. Speaking of getting a room, this is Old Time Lovemaking. What do you got to tell us about this, Michael?
Todd demo. Same thing. Probably playing drums himself and multi-tracking vocals. And
One for the money, one for the lady. 2 is the price to make the style of the day. 6 days of waiting, now it's together. All that's forgotten can be picked up along the way. I'm a single mind, I know what I want and I know what you need. You're looking at me, you're looking at the man home free. Got to get into that old
can answer
making, old time making up. Time for the lady, time for the master. Time is a waste until it's time to get down. Fire on the hot side, love in the fingers. Run down the reasons why we bothered to stay around. I believe by now my head is a song and my soul is a wine. My heart is a fire. I'm burning up my last desire. Got to get into that old time love making. Old time making up. Tides caught down and now everybody's waiting there. Nobody's done a thing like this before. Do it again. The words are spilling on the floor. There's altogether too many love yous. I love yous. Someone told a lie somewhere. It isn't possible. Hold my hand. Hold my hand. Now start again and play it by ear. Start again and play it by ear. Play it by ear now. Play it by ear. Please start it once again and play it by ear. Play it by ear. Please start it once again and play it by ear. Play it by ear. Can't quite remember why my brother told me to be here. What did he say? I wish that he were here today. He's not here today to see me digging that old time making. Digging that old time making. Digging that old time making. Digging that old time making.
Hallelujah. Good stuff. Fernando, I think I had to mute you. You were for some reason not unmuted, and it came into the song. That's not on the CD, people. If you
Hey,
heard
can I?
Yeah. Hold on. So FYI, that is only 10 songs tonight. Well, 11, because we played one version of one song, 2 different versions. 13. Where's my acetates? And 17.
Ooh.
Tons of music. 3 versions of Open My Eyes just on the acetates. If you liked what you heard tonight, get this CD.
James Lowe interview as well, talking about the Nazz Nazz sessions.
Oh,
And Todd.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh, you have that recorded? That's actually on
No,
one of those?
it's in the book. So
In
in
the
the booklet, I did a Q&A with him.
Yep, James Lowe. We tried to get him on the show. He lives in the Dominican Republic. We tried to get him on a while back, but he was helpful. All right, so Fernando, did you have something you wanted to add, sir?
No, that reminds me of that one scene. My favorite scene in the Tortured Artist Effect BBC documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Asked about the way Todd writes about love versus love and sex, because he's like, most songs about love are actually songs about sex. So he likes to write about love as a verb or love as a receiving thing. But he's like, when I write songs about sex, they're really about sex. That's probably one of Todd's first fucking songs, and it's really, really cool how he writes, compare the writing style of guys like the Kinks and the Rolling Stones at the time, writing about sex and being so crude and being from the crotch, and the fact that Todd wrote about sex from the brain, and that's funny. That's a really interesting song, because it's kind of like he found a loophole to write a song about sex without being vulgar, and and making it so classy, kind of like a history lesson. It's really cool, actually. It's great. That song makes me smile, makes me giggle.
You can feel he's exuberant writing it too. He's probably coming up with this stuff in the studio fresh, and you can tell he's like into it. It's just got an exuberance about it that's really neat.
Yeah. Well, some guys are born with a huge brain, and he's everything he does is so well thought out and so well done and so classy. Even when he's being goofy. That's the thing we love about Todd, is that stuff like, even Onomatopoeia and Golden Goose and stuff like that, even when he's being completely ridiculous, it's all coming from a higher wavelength, and even at, how old was he?
19.
Yeah.
I think we figured it 19.
But kind of like, that's the thing that blows my mind, is that we're seeing the same thing from guys like the Lemon Twigs, that happen to look exactly like they were in the Nazz, but that Brian, especially, like both Brian and Michael are incredible, but Brian is like the super like brainy, like, piano guy, and Michael gets a little more nuts, but it's cool to see history repeating itself, where we have teenagers being so higher echelon when it comes to the writing, and guys, there's a whole new slew of people with YouTube being discovered who are winning Grammys. They're getting Grammy nominated, and there's this new jazz duo called JD Beck and Domi and JD Beck are like absolutely insane. Wolfpack guys, and
Right.
and it's cool, because that's the thing, is that it's cool that Todd was already writing that incredible so early. Another thing that's interesting is that, from what I understand, Todd was a late bloomer. He wasn't playing guitar when he was 8. He got into it in his teens. So that's like the beginning of Todd's musical journey. And he's already churning out magic, pure magic. Because that demo, especially of Only One Winner, I'd never heard that. And it caught me off guard. The piano especially. That's next level.
Yeah, very, very advanced harmonic movement going on for a young guy, and very Beach Boys inspired. The closest thing you can compare it to is maybe Brian Wilson or Laura Nyro. It's more advanced kind of movement.
Yeah. Really, really cool. Especially for a guitar player. I do some writing on piano, but I've never been trained on piano, and it's interesting, because I guess I get the same feeling from Todd, where he's just kind of moving shapes around, but there's so much beauty in his playing.
Yeah, when you figure out a lot of Todd's piano parts, you see how he figured it out. They're not hard. They're almost like piano exercises or something he was fucking with, and then he makes a song from it. Like Drunken Blue Rooster is just a fourths exercise and a bass note. And when you can kind of walk in his shoes on that, he's just got kind of an amazing first of all, it's like hybrid chords. He has a way of writing chords no one else does. He writes with these smeary kind of 4-note chords with some beautiful dissonance in them, and he makes it work. And no one else really has done that.
And a lot of modality and a lot of just like, shapes. Todd's always throwing shapes, and that's actually sort of the same with his guitar playing too, because he does a lot of the stuff where he'll kind of revisit the same shape, vocabulary. And I love what I think Jesse Gress said once, and it's like, what guitar players can you say the Hendrix chord? The Todd chord is
the T chord.
The Todd chord is
or the Steely Dan Mew chord. But for me, the Todd chord is
yes, 6-9.
That stuff, which is just all that stuff, which is great.
Good stuff.
Nice Martin there. Is that a Martin? Yeah. We gotta hang out, Fernando.
This is my pandemic gift to myself, the Martin D28.
You got to.
There it is. All right, Fernando, we got to wrap this up, my friend. Fernando, appreciate you coming in. Appreciate Fernando also doing the videos for us
tonight. Yeah,
the still videos, I guess you could call this. So hopefully, Michael, you and Fernando can meet over there in LA.
Yeah,
and Cruiser Mel, I mean, Fernando is throwing down the gauntlet. He's giving us a challenge. Do it again. Some Nazz, baby. Not a Nazz music too.
And then yes, and Michael said there's acetates of Utopia.
What?
I got a whole box. I got a whole box of them. Yeah, there's like 3 different versions of Swing to the Right. The third take of Swing to the Right was the one that got released, but the original one had completely different takes. Had a completely different take of One World. The Up was the first song at one point. A song called God and Me was on 2 of the versions.
Now, are these versions that people have not heard? Is that what you're saying, or they're just kind of rare?
No, they haven't heard them.
Now, do you have these acetates?
Yeah, I'm looking. I got them right here.
Now, how did you get those?
Those I bought from another. I'm a film and TV editor as well, and there's a guy I bought them from that had got them from. I don't know if you guys remember in the Nexus back in '92. They advertised. They asked, "Were you guys in the Nexus, the Todd group?"
No. I know what you're talking about, but no.
So they offered Todd around the time he was liquidating as a state. Was selling these acetates, and this guy bought them. I missed out. I didn't have the money at that time, and I ended up finding this guy. 5 years ago? He's in Burbank. I mean, these acetates kind of found me, which was weird. Right. I didn't go looking for them. Yeah, so I had to buy them and do something with them. But yeah. So,
have you talked to Cleopatra about those?
Yes.
What do they say?
We are going to be doing. I don't know if I should say. Ooh. We're going to be doing not one on Warner Brothers, but one of the maybe later Utopia records that were not on Bearsville.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking
You'll
about.
have to come back on the show.
Mel's favorite.
It might be a 3-sided thing.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Scoop.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
Good deal. Well, Mike, we appreciate you being on night and sharing this music with us. We're glad you got it out the door.
Thank you for having me.
I really was rooting for you, but I had a feeling there may be some problems, hiccups, but it went really smooth.
Thanks for your help. I just want to say, Doug was a guy I came to, when I was asking about this stuff, and what should I say and how should we present this, and is this good, and should we do this? And he's like, I don't know. I mean, some of it's scratchy, but I'm like, but the stuff is so rare. Yeah. And judging by the comments, I feel people understand that. And
the main thing we talked about way back then was just most people, I think, don't know what acetate is, and you did a very good job of explaining it, and now we do. And so to know that there's more and there's more of this kind of stuff is exciting. It was very educational to have you on today and learn about that for a lot of people, especially me and Mel. I'm sure some others too. And it's neat stuff. But it's like Fernando talked about, bringing history back, and doesn't have to be perfect. It's just nice to hear something new and look at it from a different angle, as he said. So,
and nice to see the Nazz on the shelf. Like to see those guys up on the shelf, like a new record. Yeah.
Well, we'll keep working Stookie and Tom, and maybe we can, get them involved somehow. It would be nice because it's a great time in their lives that they put out some great music. And so,
They're amazing. I have nothing but the utmost respect for them. I just love them so much, and I feel like they've not got enough attention.
Mhm.
And I was hoping to change that a little. So go buy the set. It's a great Christmas present. If you got the new Something Anything box, it goes really nice with it. If you got a Todd fan, you're going to buy a Christmas present for.
Mhm.
It's a really lovely set. It's a gem of a set.
Yeah. You got that. You got this Individualist. You got all kind of good stuff out. But tomorrow you can get the Nazz Lost Masters and Demos with acetates and other good stuff. And fun stuff. All right, man.
Thanks for having me.
We
Well done.
enjoyed meeting you, and probably do something again. It sounds like because people like Utopia too.
Yeah. Let
Yeah,
us
I'm
know.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too, Mel.
All right, everybody. That's a wrap. Again, we dedicated this show to Teresa and Jana, and we're gonna miss them.